This is Al Spath. It's the 26th of July, 2015. I am Teach GPL. That's the global poker league. You can find a nice poker forum there if you want to check it out sometime. Global Poker League. I'm one radar one here at True Poker. Just sat down, got $25. That's the maximum allowed at this table. This is a micro limit, 10 cent, 25 cent. As you can see, this person raised to 75 cents and got a couple of callers out of the blinds. Blinds don't usually call unless they have something. I expect one of them to bet. Since he did not bet the first time, it's more likely that he's afraid of that king right there, or he has the three kings. We'll see. He just bet into him and he got a call. Now he checked. I would anticipate this person betting, and he's over betting the pot. He definitely wants to drive this person out. He may, in fact, have queens. But we won't find out. We want to work on this morning interpreting bets and putting players on a range of hands, a group of hands. When I say a range of hands, I'm talking 3 or 4 hands that, if I say pocket nines and king queen suited and ace 10, they're similar in this group. That doesn't mean that pocket nines doesn't fit in that group. It does. It's like the pocket tens. It doesn't mean that king jack suited doesn't fit in there because I said king queen. They're similar. Just so you have an idea of what a person has when you put them in a group. It's not entirely to that exact model that you're going to use. It could be a little variation of it. But if you put somebody on king queen and they do have king jack suited, when a king comes out, you still take the necessary precautions with the king on the board and you holding, let's say, pocket tens. You've got to assume, until they prove differently, that when they bet a certain amount, it signifies a certain type of hand from a certain type position at the table. When you're in early position, generally speaking, it's a better hand. That's because there's more people yet to act behind you, and so therefore you have to have a better hand to withstand any raises or re-raises. When you're in late position, you can have a weaker hand. You've seen all the action in front of you, and you can make more moves. That's why position matters in poker. You always want to use your position to your advantage. I have a late position right now. This person limped in under the gun. This person limped in here. This is a demonstration. This is a hand I would not play. But if I was going to play this hand and I raised it up to $1.50, the only person that's going to call me here is a legitimate type hand. And he's in the blind with $90. That's a lot of money when you sit down at 25. So I'm just demonstrating something. I would normally throw this one away. I'd rather have a better hand. But I just want to demonstrate something to you. And I got another call. So this is an unusually active table, aggressive table. But if I didn't hit here, more than likely one of these three has hit this flop pretty good. Now they're all going to check it, and it's up to me to try to steal it. Just like that. I think if they had something there, they would have bet. When you do things like that and you have position, you can win money. That's an illustration of it. Here again, I have aces. I'm going to make it $1.25. It seems to be a little bit more of an aggressive table, so I'm going to start to make my raises a little higher since they're jumping in. I may not get somebody with my aces here, and I don't. That's a shame. But I'm not going to give them an opportunity to come in, to have 3 or 4 people that I have to come in against that may beat my aces. I want to get aces, kings, queens, heads up, ace, king, ace, queen. I want to get them heads up with one person. All right. Let's go back to normality here. I'm going to go adjusting for the limper that limped in right before me. I went to $1. I would have went to 75 because he limped. I have to offset that pot odds and do that. I'm going to bet 2/3 of the pot here. The only person staying is the jack. I know that if anybody stays here, they have the jack. So he has, in my opinion, the jack. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is going to check and take the free card. I think he goes away in most situations. Now 9 would really help me here, but he's he's going to check. So now he's saying that he doesn't have a jack. And he doesn't have a jack. That's why would anybody stay when somebody raised pre-flop and then 2 jacks came, bet it. So that's a pretty poor player. He's at $48. So you have to tell yourself, how did this guy get to $48? How did this guy get to $90? Normally, people that are above the minimum what they sat with, and I sat with 25 a minute ago, they have won several pots. And so you have to then consider, is he just a lucky player? You have to keep an eye on that guy because there's no way with a deuce, jack, jack, and 3 different suits that he has any kind of a draw. He had to have an under pair under my 9s because if he had ace queen, remember the king and the 10 came out, he would have made a straight. So he couldn't have had the ace queen as well. And he checked on the end, and so therefore he didn't play the hand very well. All right, let's go back to bets and putting players on hands. I was a little bit more active than I wanted to start off. I was getting some really good cards. So these cards go in the muck. Here's a limp. That's usually a suited ace, a suited connector, a small or medium pair. Same thing with this guy. And then we have this person who raised. He didn't really raise enough, in my opinion. There was 75, 85 cents in the pot, and he raised it up to 125. This probably should have been closer to 150 in this situation because these 2 limpers add a little bit of money into the pot, and more likely they're going to stick around here. Now, he may want 2 opponents, but it's hard to tell. So let's consider him to have ace king or ace queen. The normal 16 combinations of that. It's more likely he has that than he has top pocket queens, pocket kings, or pocket aces. So he will bet less than half the pot, which I don't think is a good bet in that situation. It's almost like he's got queens and he's kind of protecting his hand. He bet because the ace was out there, but then he got a little scared. So I didn't like his bet, which told me he was, and in my opinion, a little weak. Pocket jacks. So I said queens. Remember, we talked about putting him on a group of hands. We don't have to be exact, but if I put him on queens, if he has jacks, wow, aces twice in less than 10 minutes. Let's just jump it up here since we're in early position. And when you're in early position or out of position, you want to bet more than you do when you're in position because of the fact that so many people yet to act. And if one person or 2 people come in, then all of a sudden they start creating pot odds for somebody. So unless they got, I'm going to bet $5 here. If they got pocket 6s or pocket 7s, I'm beat. That's just the way it's going to be at the micro limits. You know, if we're playing different stakes, playing 2-4, and we got 600 effective stacks and things like that, you might play the whole hand completely different. We'll talk about that as we go up to 25 cent 50, where we see the first natural change in the way people play and protect their bankrolls, and then 50 cent 1 on our journey through the micro limits. Now see, here the guy made it 50, which is a min raise, which I don't believe is very good. And then this guy made it 250. He quickly called. So I would think that this guy here has got something decent. This guy is going to fire about 4. He should fire, and he didn't fire. He should have been firing about $4. So now this guy will fire probably $6. He likes to overbet the pot, it seems. He's going to bet half the pot though, which is not the greatest bet in the world. He's going to get the call. That's a killer card here for this guy or this guy. If he checks, he doesn't like the king. If he bets, the king helped his hand. Again, it's only half. I think you'll get a caller here, unless he missed completely with ace queen. If he comes over the top, we know what he's got. He's thinking about it. Now, so if he had ace queen, he wouldn't be thinking about this for a second. He has the ace king, as I suspected, as the type of hand I put him on, and he did have the winning hand, which made the $90 guy go down in his stack, and he took off like a well, he fled the scene. Let's put it that way. It's like people are on to him all of a sudden. But again, put the players on the hand. We put him on king queen. I mean, ace king, ace queen, and then he didn't bet it out. He did bet it out or check it back like when he missed it instead of continuation bet. And then I told you when the king came, that was an action card, probably hit him or him, and it turned out to hit him. There's another one, ace king. He continued betting through the round, and he won by continuation. Aggression, now this guy has left over here as well. And you get to think online, were those two guys colluding at all? Were those guys in cahoots? Why would they leave right after each other? I don't like these cards in this position. I'm out of position. It's a weak ace. He limped, though. I could raise it up. I'm going to limp in here and just take a flop, see what we got. Now, if somebody bets a quarter here, or doesn't bet at all, I'm gonna raise this up to $1. I'm gonna look like I'm gonna steal this from somebody here. There was no interest. There was no betting both times. So why not steal the money? You only got two opponents to beat, but don't do like most people do. Don't put a quarter out there and see what you're gonna do. You gotta put a bet out there, and I put a bet of $1, and I won. That's how you gotta play the game. So here we got, again, we're working on putting players on hand. There's the early raise. This is the ace, king, ace, queen. Could be eight. We have two people out. You might even lower that down to ace, jack at this point. Even king, queen suited. And a call right from this guy. See if this guy does a 2/3 pot. He's saying he's got either king, queen, or ace, queen here. See if he follows up now with a full pot bet. Almost, no, he went 2/3 again. If this is guy's on the draw, he's going to stick around. Nope, he goes away. So we won't see the cards unless he shows it to us, but we can assume we were probably pretty right on what we were saying there. It took the same lines as we would. Now here are the 4-5. This is the cards that make you money at these micro limits. The 4-5, the 8-9 suited. Hands like that are worth a lot of money down here. Because right now I raised, and like I told you, we usually put person on ace king or ace queen. So nobody's putting me on 4-5 here. Unfortunately, I didn't hit. But I'm going to have to bet here as if I do have something. And only the 10 is the what I'm worried about. The 10 or the hearts. And so he stayed, and I'm just going to check it. He's going to check it back to me, especially if he has a 10. So I'm going to lose to his high card. He doesn't have the 10, he has the hearts. He probably has an ace of hearts or a king of hearts if he was on a heart draw. Sometimes the board's just not going to run out good. Here again, this guy comes in for the quarter. We have to offset his bet. We're in early position, so we want to bet a little bit more with our ace king. If we were in late position and we had just a one limper, we might make this $1, $1.25 because we want to keep somebody in and we have a good position. Now we've bought our position. Even though we're in a pretty early position, we've knocked out all these players here and the couple sitting out, and we've got position, on everybody. So what does being aggressive do? It eliminates players, puts more money into the pot. It defines your hand. It defines the player's hand that comes against you. If they stay in, it tell you how strong their hand is to pay that kind of amount. It gets you to continuation bet and win on the next round. It may buy you when you barrel on the next round. You can take a free card. There's so much more that you gain when you raise and be aggressive than when you're passive and you call. Limping is for losers. Again, I'm in early position, and I've flopped the flush. I don't think they'll put me on the flush here. I'm going to bet half the pot. I don't want another diamond to come out, obviously. Now I'm going to bet $3. If he's got the diamond, he's going to stick around. And again, I'm going to bet 2/3 of the pot, see if I can get paid off here. Nope. So this morning we've been a lot more aggressive than I'm usually at, not only because we got aces dealt to us twice, and I wanted to demonstrate a couple of steel hands and what have you, but you get opportunities and you got to take advantage of. Sometimes those opportunities uh, don't come up for you, and it's a little tough to make some money at the micro limits, and you got to be patient. When you're not getting cards, you got to be patient. Like right here, you don't want to jump in out of position against a small raise. It's just silly. For those of you that haven't viewed any of my other videos, or here at Twitch or on YouTube by searching Al Spath, S-P-A-T-H, I'm dealing with building a bankroll at the micro limits. I think it's very important for you to lay a good foundation before you move up and risk your money, especially online. So you need to take your lumps down here at the lower levels. You need to make mistakes when you make mistakes and learn from them. Here again, I have position. If I want to steal this one, I got to put in like $2. I demonstrated today early in the table when I had the 2-3, and I won it with a continuation bet. I'm not going to do it here. But I just want you to remember, you can do that even when you're not getting hands when you have position. But remember, the bet has to be the proper amount. Here we have a blind that raised it up. All right. This guy set a trap. He limped in probably with kings or something, hoping that somebody would do this. This 62 cents was not a good bet, but he only has 753 behind. If he has a pair of nines here, he's probably going to get stacked. There's somebody with queens that kind of slow played it and set a trap. For right now, see, he jumped that in right now. So I would think he's got something like nines or tens, and this guy's got a bigger pair. Here comes the rest of the money. We're going to find out. There's the queens. He didn't even have the nines. He only had 7-9. But again, the whole theory of this training is to put players on hands like I did this guy. He limped in, then he came over the top. He's got to have a group one hand. In this case, I just toned in on pocket queens. If you're following me, we have somebody over in the chat room. He could please make a comment if you follow completely on what I was saying there. I appreciate that. If not, that's okay too. Some people just come in to view, and other people come in to do other things. The whole idea of this game is not to lose money, to make the least amount of mistakes and capitalize on your opponent's mistakes. You got to be patient. You got to be disciplined. You got to watch what's going on. You got to understand the flavor of the table. You have to understand the dynamics of the table. Do you have some aggressive people? Who are they? Do you have some nits, some really tight people that are just waiting for a big hand? Can you avoid that confrontation unless you have a big hand? You must understand that. If you're playing 2, 3, 4, 5 tables, a lot of times you lose those dynamics and you might leak some money off. I'm not recommending that you do it. It takes somebody that's highly skilled to play multi-tables not to leak money. Okay? You just miss information that's at the table. By the way, on my page, if you haven't been following me, please follow me, and you should get an email alert when I do go live. And I play at Full Flush Poker. There's a link on there to join up. And Heartbeat Poker offers a lot of free rolls and extra events every month. I play at True Poker, and on my link, not on my page, but on my synopsis of the YouTube, I'll put a link up to my group there. And next Saturday at 10 a.m. on Skype, we're going to do a live real table. Just the people for our group. We're going to sit down at a table. We're all going to be on Skype, and we'll talk about hands after the hand's over. So it's not a collusion thing or anything like that. I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression, but we're going to just sit there and talk about the previous hand and what happened and why it happened and how it could have been changed differently if somebody would have done this or done that. It's a very good, we're going to play a 10-cent, 25-cent table. and all the players that at the table will be on Skype, and anybody that wants to watch and listen in can be on there with us. You have to add me on your Skype. It's al.spath, S-P-A-T-H. Just like that, al.spath. So look at, I didn't even watch because I was talking then, but look at the board, and now this guy has to bet. They both check. This guy has to bet, and he should bet at least $3 here. And we have a comment from the side here. He played micro stakes, and so far I've learned that the big mistakes happen post flop, usually in the turn of river, making big calls or bets. Myself find the river quite hard. Yes, he's absolutely right. Most players at this level do not have post flop skills, and they don't know how to get away from a hand, and they go too far in a hand. They draw too often, and they don't understand the dynamics. If you read Ed Miller's book, his new book, The Course, you will find out at 1-2 and 1-3, which is equivalent to some of the online 25-cent, 50-cent tables and things like that, that when players commit lots of money late in a round, they have what they say. In 2-5, it's a lot different. When you move up to 2-5, you got a lot of people. There's a nice flush there, not flush. A lot of people bluff and semi-bluff, but when you're down at the 1-2 or down at some of these lower limits, a lot of times when people commit, they commit because they have it. Now I'm going to raise this up. I can't limp with threes in early position. Now someone's going to put me on, like I said before, ace king or ace queen. I get a caller right there. If I get a three that comes out without having a big card, I'll make a lot of money here. If I didn't have a lot of callers and a big card come out, I could follow it up with a bet and take it down. Now, I'm going to check it here only because we have so many opponents here. I want to see what the person that I'm playing against bet. Now, they may put me on pocket queens here. So I'm going to fire as if I do have it now and see if I can get them all to go away. And I can't. So why would that guy call now and didn't bet the first time? Did he have a weak queen like a queen 10, queen jack? I can't spend any more money on this. It's obvious that nobody's going to go away, and the ace is a bad card. I hope they check so we see the cards. That's unfortunate. So he's betting as if he has ace-4 suited. He's betting as if he has a good ace here. And we won't find out. So sometimes you bet your money and you try to knock some people out. You try different things and you come up short. Don't get discouraged by it. I'm just showing you some different techniques on how to do it. Sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes it's not. Okay, this is an obvious check with these cards. There's my three I needed on the board. Now, what would he be betting with here? He would be betting with a draw, more than likely. He goes over the top. He's saying he has the 7, like an ace-7 suited, or he has an overpair to the board. I don't think he goes like this with the deuce. So let's see how it plays out. I think he'll fold, and he doesn't. So he's going to go against his bet. He's going to bet the quarter again, which is a terrible bet. You're just inviting trouble. Calls again. There's his club. Let's see if he bets it. Or it's BYOB at the end. Bring your own bet. Don't expect this guy to bet because he might be afraid of that. That's right. Bring your own bet. If you got the clubs, or you want him to think you got the clubs, you put the money in. He doesn't believe him. He's got the, he hit the 9s, and we don't get to see what this guy had. Oh, man. That was the wrong club to hit, wasn't it? So I could see the flop, but, come on. I'm out of position. I got bad cards. I tell people all the time is, divide the table. Divide the table up. Pros, cons. Pluses, minuses. You got good position, pro. You got bad position, minus. You got good cards, pro. You got bad cards, minus. You know, you're out of position, minus. You're in position, you're over here. Just when you get your cards, just take a look and see where those things lie at. Is it over here? Is it over here? And you'll find out real quick. If it's even or tipping towards the right side of the page, the con or the negative, then don't play the hand. Make it simple on yourself. Go through that right there. I had bad cards, good position, so that's 1 and 1. I wasn't facing a raise, but do I want to get in a pot with Queen 3? No. It's just like, what the heck purpose does it serve? You know, am I gonna? The only reason I'd get in there is if I wanted to float and try to take it away from somebody later on in a later round because I know nobody's really strong. Most of you that are playing the micro limits don't have them skills yet, so I don't want to get into those kind of skills. I demonstrate it every now and then, but because we do have some viewers that are coming back and learning, relearning, re-educating themselves because they've gone up online to 50 cent 1, 1, 2, and they're finding out they're losing their bankrolls, or they're playing live and losing, and they want to figure out, how did I get in that situation? Again, a lot of people in late position with a limper in front of them might raise with an ace there. I can't raise with an ace in that situation. It just doesn't serve a purpose. Okay, he bets 50 cents or about half the pot. Not really a good bet. You're not going to get out anybody that has diamonds. You're not going to get anybody that has Jack 10 or Queen 10. You know, they have a straight draw or anything like that. Queen 10 would love that, but the diamonds are out there. Again, unfortunately, they don't show the hand showdown and we don't get to see. I like sites that you can get to see both sets of cards. Here's an easy fold as well. One of the persons that just came into the room is Ronster. He's a former student of mine over at Poker School Online and very good player. He came in, played a little bit of stud the other night and quickly won 40 or 50 bucks. He said it was nice getting back to the tables and playing something other than Hold'em. Again, I got King Queen, not the greatest hand in the world, but I'm in early position. I raise it up. I get a quick call from a short stack. I get another call. I don't want all these callers, I'll be honest with you. I want folds. Not the greatest of cards. 2/3 is 339. That ought to either get this guy to my left all in or out. Now they're putting me on a pair because I've fired enough in it. And then he's saying he hit a set. I have nothing. I'm not going to fold immediately. I'm just going to let some time go off the clock and give him his money. Or as in Rounders, they said, give the man his money. A lot of people, these low limits, will play any two suited cards. You won't get to see me playing any two suited cards. So this guy is very active here. Let's see what it says. He's from East Middle, United States, male. He's been playing a member since February of last year, so he's had some time. He might know what he's doing. So let's see if he follows up with a dollar bet here. It goes with half the pot. Again, I'm not a proponent of half pot bets. You don't find much out that way. Doesn't define your hand or your opponent's hand. Now he checks, saying he's got overcards or he hit the flush. One of the two, more likely overcards. This guy's going to bet into him. and take it away from him. More likely, he hit the flush, right, but and a straight. But this person more likely had ace king or ace queen, or not ace queen, because he would have bet the queen that was on the board. Probably ace king. Limper, limper. So again, we've got suited cards, connectors, we've got ace X suited, we've got small pairs, middle pairs. We really don't have the big hand at the table. Yes, you could have king jack. Some people will play that the wrong way and limp with it in a limp pot instead of raising with it. Not that I'm saying it's a great hand. I'm just saying if you're going to play it, you got to play it aggressively. So here's the hand that most of my clients, almost to a person, have told me over time. This is a hard hand for me to play. This is the hand that gets me in trouble more than anything else. And my response to them always is, what did you just say? Listen to yourself. If it gets you into trouble, then don't play it, or play it differently than the way you're playing it. You're obviously playing it the wrong way. So I'm going to see a flop with, even though he limped here, he's got such a short stack behind. He might be one of these people that's just going to limp with a good hand, hoping that somebody else will put the money in. Here I'm going to go for a check raise. I'm going to hope that he puts his money in, and we have this. We take the raise. We take the raise. See if I can get him to come. Okay. See if he hit. Oh, he's got those queens. I told you before. He would have pushed on me. Remember I showed you the stack right here? When he limped in with a short stack and I didn't want to come over the top pre-flop because I felt that he was going to push with that short stack. So I wanted to see the flop, then go about my after the flop play. That's exactly what TTO Opan was talking about. How after the flop you lose money. But that's the situation. Now, if I was on the button with the 6-7 suited, I'd raise. But since I'm out of position, I'm going to just call and see the flop and then decide. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go all in here. I've got the open-ended straight flush draw. I've got the straight, but somebody could also have a flush. I want them to think I'm stealing this pot. But first I'm going to see if I can get somebody to jump me and think I'm stealing. That's all I'm doing here. Thinking about it. The bait's out there. Here it comes. He's got a bigger flush than me. He's got two pair. He's got the bigger flush than me. I got trapped. See, you're probably saying, why'd you put all that money in? I can't get away from the hand. I'm looking for somebody to take me on. I had the best hand on the flop. He was behind. The cards ran out that way. It's not my fault. You can't be mad at yourself for the way that the cards run out there. He had the cards I needed to make my straight flush draw on the top end. You know, I only had the four down on the bottom end there to do any good. So I lose my entire stack. But it was a good demonstration to you to say, when you're at these micro limits and you flop something, you want to get all your money in when you're ahead sometimes because somebody will pay you off. More than likely, I'm going to win that a great deal of time, okay? I flopped the straight. I got to worry about another flush card coming. If, in fact, he has flush cards, the likelihood of him having two flush cards is slimmer because there's two on the board, two in my hand. So it doesn't make sense that he would have it, but he can have it, and he did have it. And then it ran out with another flush card. So that just happens. All right? That just happens. You can't just go into some kind of tilt mode and get upset. Again, I can't limp with this hand. I like this hand a lot. I'm going to raise it up. Absolutely. You listen to the person here in the chat. He's absolutely right. The flush over flush, there's nothing you can do about it. It happened. You know, you got to get your money in good. I got my money in good. I got somebody to put their money in on a draw when I was already there. And I had a redraw. They could have been on a draw for a straight as well and made a straight. And I had my, make the flush. But that's what these Twitch videos are about. You've got to see the good with the bad. I do not edit anything. My voice, the video, anything. You should hear it raw. There's too many people out there that want to analyze something because they're results oriented and they want to talk about it after the fact. This is how it is right here. How I put the players on the hand. You're hearing me teach you how to do it and what you should do and what you could try at the lower limit. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. There are other ways to play it. But I don't know about you, but I like to get my money in ahead every single time. Oh, absolutely. The other player did have a good hand to call with, but I don't know if I was in the situation with him and I had the flush draw and um, let's see, he had 9-10 and so he needed a gut shot. He had a flush draw and a gut shot. I believe. Did he have the gut shot? Correct me if I'm wrong. So he had between 9 and 12 outs, but he had to pay. He's paying 1-to-1. I'm putting $34 in a pot. He's putting in $34, and he knows he's behind either to a set, two pair, or a straight. So is it a good play or isn't a good play? The madman's right, and if I'm sorry he wasn't here earlier in the session, I talked about being in early position, and you get cards you want to play. I don't want you to limp with. You're going to have to raise with it. If you can get away with it, fine. If you can't, but you can fold them very easily. You're a big, absolutely good point, madman. But in the beginning, I pointed that out, and hopefully later on you can play the video back and hear that. And I demonstrate something in position and out of position with certain cards. So thank you for your comment. I really appreciate that. And you're absolutely right, spot on. So we know we're not going to play this hand under any circumstances unless it's just check to me. I mean, or it just comes around to me and I can check. People do this sometimes. Actually, people do this with aces and kings and hope that somebody thinks that they're just trying to steal 50, 60 cents. A lot of times people will do this with like pocket eights or pocket nines because they're trying to protect their hand. It's usually a dumb move to do. It's just not something, unless you're at a table that's got a lot of people that like to just play gamble, not play poker. There's a difference between playing poker and gambling. You want one or two gamblers at your table to get the pots to be big. You don't necessarily want 5 or 6 gamblers at your table. Yes, the money flows, and it usually flows clockwise at the table because clockwise always, gives you a position. But when you have 4 or 5 and you have so many people in the pot, a lot of times good hands get busted up because they stay in with one pair and they catch the other pair. It's okay if you're heads up with somebody. You can understand that if they catch, they paid the money, you charge them enough to go along, and that's okay. But when you've got 3 or 4 in there and then somebody catches, that's heartbreaking to you. So here he limped in here. I'm definitely going to raise this up. That's too much. Go to $1.25. Going to follow up with a bet here. I'll go 2/3 the pot. I'd rather go 3/4, but they don't have that. Going to go the same route again. He seems to be sticking in there. And he's gone. I'm not worried about the 3-5 as the madman pointed out a couple minutes ago. I don't think he had the 3-5. Now I don't like these cards, although I have good position. If this folded around to me, would I make a play at Probably not at this table. Now, if that would be Jack 9, I might make a play. But it's moot because somebody else has raised. I don't know if Ronster was here when I picked up that pot that I lost. I think he was. He'll talk to me later on about that as well. So he bets 260 into this pot. He's saying he's got the king, queen, ace, queen. I doubt very seriously he's betting 7 there. I think he would slow play the 7s. Here we go, back to the 7-6 suited in spades. Although my cowboy opponent here took the money and ran. Again, he limped. I got to take that as nothing, and I'm gonna put it up to $1 here. If I'm gonna play this hand, I'm gonna raise with this hand. I'm not limping. Those of you that disagree that want to limp, that's a different way to play the game, and you can do that all you want. Good comments, Madman. Thank you so much for contributing there. I appreciate it. Now, this should have hit somebody, but I've got to follow up here, and I got to get people out. And if they call only, I may get a redraw if I get a spade on the turn. I have nothing. I'm just betting the fact that my aggression pre-flop would win that hand. So you've seen, if you've watched from the beginning of the, even though I lost that one big hand, which was a good demonstration anyhow, because you're here to learn, you can pick up money by being aggressive. 6 max is one of the things that we're going to do next week. In fact, I've done the full tables, 5 cent, 10 cent, 10 cent, 25 cent, and we're going to go to some 6 max tables next week and show you. I think I did one this week, and you have to be very aggressive. You play a wider range of hands. You cannot afford to be a net at that table and sit around and wait for a good hand, because the rake and the blinds will just eat you up. It'll just eat you up alive. And they both got over pairs, and the aces should win. I'm sure all of you know about the rule of 4 and 2. After the flop, you multiply your outs times 4 to get an idea where you're at. After the turn, it's by 2. So if you flop an open-ended straight draw, you have 8 outs. You have a 32% chance of completing your hand on the flop. After the turn card comes and it doesn't help you, it's 2 times the 8, which is 16%. Helps you a lot whether or not you want to stay in or how much you want to pay to stay in a hand. Another example of that is if you got a pair of 9s and you don't flop a 9, you've got 2 9s left in the deck, so you got an 8% chance of making your trips. And after the turn, it's 2 times 2 times 2, which is a 4% chance. Not so good. Hey, there's Rick Dent from Australia. That's pretty nice. Mr. Peter, how are you? This table, like, not 3 bets going pre-flush, so it's quite safe to open a wide range. Yeah, you could open with a wider range here, but I will tell you or give you a caution. One thing you want to worry about when you have what the Pan has said there, that you could open with a wide range, you got a lot of calling stations at the table. And so even though you're opening with a wide range, expect not to just take it down and get some callers. You got to have that post-flop play mindset in your mind, and you got to be able to do something after the flop comes. Now, if this was suited, I'd probably raise, but unsuited, I'm not. And it's only about a 3% difference between suited and unsuited. But if you listen to Ed Miller in his new book, The Course, he'll tell you that little edge that you have there of being suited is a big deal. And I agree with him 100%. There are some people that say, hey, if you could raise with 8-10 suited, you could raise with 8-10 offsuit. Agree, you can. I prefer not to. Ed Miller prefers not to. And I'll leave it at that. I'll ask Rick Dent, who just came in, and anybody else that wants to comment. The quality of the table itself, I don't do the multi-tables or anything like that. The quality of the table itself, is it out of focus? Is it sharp? Is it good? Is the sound quality good? It would help me for later recordings. Thank you so much for comments in the chat. I'll read them as we go along. So I've raised it up in early position, and I told you, we normally put people in early position on ace king or ace queen. That's 16 combinations of that. It's the most common hand to raise in early position. We want to do the same when someone raises us. If he raises here, we tend to, they could have aces or kings, sure, but there's less combinations of that. Now, as we go around the board here, again, we're going to look for somebody that comes in first to raise, and they'll raise with a wider range of hands. This as a limp is not acceptable. If you're doing this, you're doing the wrong thing. Okay? Now, Ronster comes in. I don't think he'll limp. I think he'll go $1, $1.25. Busy doing something else. On the button. Okay, so we'll just do a demonstration just to see who's doing what here. Let's raise it up to $2 and see who sticks around. Let's see who's trapping and who's just trying to see a flop cheap. So he decides to call, and that invites everybody. So what we learned is that it may, in fact, be that these folks here are going to call no matter what. Now, again, I have nothing, but I'm going to follow up my bet. I raised pre-flop. I got to indicate that I got an ace. He comes over the top. I get rid of my hand. So there, I won. I got them all to put $2 in the pot for me. And when a blind raises, everybody takes note of that because a blind is usually out of position. When a person's out of position, puts in a bet, it's usually that they're solid. I could do so. I'm going to call for the 15 cent. I'm looking for a six, two sixes. I'm looking for ace six. He raises. I can throw this away. Now, there's a person that says the stream's down for him, but I don't know about that. I'm just going to keep on going. Well, it's not a hand that I want against three opponents. If ace high wins, I just laugh and take my 95 cents, but I doubt very seriously if it will. Somebody might have a pair of sixes or something. He has a 5. I guess I could have stolen it. This is good position, bad cards. Real bad cards. Hey, we saw that guy do that earlier, didn't we? Red Lucy's done that twice now. See if he's got goose stuff to put in $15 to see if he's got a pair of 8s or 9s or a big hand. Remember, when someone does that, they usually don't have 7 deuce or something like that. So I'm going to raise this one up. Again, I'm in late position. I want the button. There, I got the button. So I paid for the button. Now I'm last to act. Now if a blind re-raises me, I got to throw my hand away. Unless it's a small raise, then I'll probably see a flop with them. But if they go up $3, $4, I'm done. My hand's not that good. Will he pay or not? That's the question. In your own mind, say it now. Yes, say to yourself, yes or no. No. All right, we got the queen. We didn't get the 9. We're going to go 2/3 and see if he sticks around. Nope. Any 2 suited in the muck every time. It was Jack 10. I wouldn't be singing that tune though. I'd be raising probably, but that guy early raiser from Ronster. Now Ronster's probably got a decent hand here. How good it is, I don't know. He's an early position. I know Ronster. He'll do this with pocket fives. The same thing he'll do with ace king or ace queen. Now the Pan is. I don't know his name, so I apologize for his name, but I love his comments here. I love all your comments. I appreciate you contributing here. They play a lot of, and very passive, and then they be super tight on the river. People tend to not bet properly throughout the round, whether they're barreling or anything. They just don't, and you have to note who does and who doesn't. Now see if Ronstadt does a quick check up here. Boom! You say, I anticipated him checking because of his last bet. I didn't like his last bet at all. So I'm going to say that Ronster's going to probably bail out here, and he probably had, I would think something like, let's see, what was on the board again? The low cards. He had ace. He probably had a pair under the ace. Now, this guy has limped since I got here. Limped every time. I think this is a much bigger hand than me, and my ace might not even count. I am going to fold. There are a lot of people here that would 3-bet. I would like to hear that if they would over in the chat. Before anything else happens, quickly put in a you would or you wouldn't. I don't think I would ever, with the ace jack in this position to a person I've been observing as a calling station all the time, all the whole round, all of a sudden puts in a first raise. I don't need that matchup. I don't have any money invested in his hand. Ace jack is not meat and potatoes, folks. It's just a decent hand. No better than that. Has an easy fold. Got about 10 minutes or so left on this video. I usually limit it to between 45 minutes and an hour. I don't want to over tax anybody's brain on thinking about all the things that we cover during the hour. I hope that you'll replay it later on, especially the first part, because it's very important to you, especially if you're really working on your fundamentals and trying to get some good habits established and eliminate some leaks or holes in your game. And speaking of that, if you want to contact me by email, it's alspath@alspath.com. Happy to answer your questions for you, or if you want to arrange some private shadowing, I'm available for that. And we'll have a free Skype 20-30 minute interview first, see where you're at, see what I can do for you, or if we're a match, and if we are, we'll go on from there. If you take two sessions up front, I'll discount both sessions 25% each. So that's a good deal. If you're following me here at Twitch, just mention that, and I will discount it 25% on both sessions. And if you buy the 2 sessions up front, like I said, and you go through the first session, you're not happy, I'll return the second session money to you. You won't be obligated to pay it. Rick Dent is one of my clients from Australia. He's in the chat room here, and you can go to the poker coaching review site on the internet and find out what other people have said about my training and my coaching. And you've listened to here today, you know what to expect. But before you do anything like that, I'd love to have you as a client, but do the free videos that I have and other people have. Get as much free stuff done as you can and supplement your training. Don't have to spend a lot of money on coaching and training when coaches and trainers like myself offer a lot of information free. Learn what you need to learn, and then go, and it'll save you money in the long run on how many lessons or sessions you need. You may just need a tune-up. You may just be out of kilter. You may be just doing 1 or 2 things wrong. And a coach like myself, or anybody that you hire, might be able to see that really quick by you answering some questions. Ronster's going all in here. He's saying that he made the straight. So you put him on a 4-5 here. because I don't think he wants to put his money in there without having the nuts. Now I like this hand. I don't like my position. I like this hand. I like it suited, and I like it back here in the hijack or the cutoff or on the button more so than here. We don't want Lucy raising here. He'll just call or fold. But this is the one I would worry about. Okay, so we'll take a flop. We got a gutter ball. We'll check it and just see who's got the power at the table. I don't like to bet out with this many people. So what are we thinking here? Are we thinking they got the flush? We think, I've got it's 221. I've got about a little under 4-1, but there's a flush draw. I'm out of position. What's the chances? I think I'm going to fold here. I just don't like this hand that much. That would get me in a little bit more trouble maybe, because the likelihood of somebody having a better 10 than me is good. And there's the flush and the 5. There's the flush and there's the oh, he didn't. What did he do? Oh, he had the 5. He had the 5 for the straight. That's the perfect scenario for Red Lucy. You get your opponent to have the straight and you get the flush. But I didn't want to put my money in that pot because of the fact that I thought that all those opponents, someone was on those draws. Well, thank you there, Mr. Dent. Appreciate your comments. Okay, I have nothing in this position. I paid 15 cents to see a flop. They've all. If he would have checked again, I would have come out betting on the turn there. Or I was thinking about check raising him, but I just didn't have enough in my cards. The redraw was pretty poor. So I got position. I got good cards. If we go back to what I said earlier and divide the table up, good position, pretty good cards, not great cards. I'm going to raise it up. So now I'm the aggressor. I got all things positive. I have nothing negative right now. He'll call. I think he'll call. All right, I got top pair, top kick. I could get felted again easily here by pocket 6s or pocket 4s. You're going to have to take those chances when you're playing at this limit. Pocket 10s has got me beat. I'm going to raise whatever he puts in the pot unless he goes all in. Okay, it's going to cost them a $5 bill to keep going. In this case, Itchy must probably go all in because it's about a third of the stack. And they fold and I pick up the pot. The reason I did that is because of a 10, a jack, a queen, a king comes. I'm in nowhere's land. I don't have any of those cards. They're all make a pair bigger than my 9s. So I want to overbet it. I want to end it right there. If somebody comes on, I still got to redraw for an ace. I got to redraw for a 9. There's all these other things. But I don't want to spend a little bit of money and keep people in that pot. I want to just take that down. I hope that makes perfect sense to you. Now, there are other people going to be out there good morning, Special K, that are going to disagree with some of the things that I do. Everybody looks at the table and the cards a little bit differently. You can't say you're wrong, I'm right, he's wrong, I'm right, or I'm wrong, he's right. It's easy to second guess in Monday morning quarterback or the day after. Say, if I did this on that flush hand that I got felted on earlier, this would have happened, or I'd have saved all that money. I'd be up over $60 right now because I think I lost $30-something on that pot. Absolutely. But if I won that pot, I'd be at $100-something too. So it's risk reward when you play this game. There are times that you need to risk money, and other times you're going to receive the reward, and sometimes things are not going to work out properly. It will for the other guy, though. It's the old saying in the military, and I was 24 years in the military, and there were people that always would walk around with excuse the phone call here. I don't have anybody to answer the phone in the other room, so it's gonna ring. So apologize for that. Anyhow, there are people all walking around with a Purple Heart on there, and I went to this. That's the third time this guy's done that during this 1 hour session, and I apologize for the phone, but I don't have a way of turning it off. This one guy said one time, I'd like to be the guy that, you get the Purple Heart for being wounded. I think the marksman is the guy that shot the guy that got the Purple Heart. That's the guy that I want on my side. That's the guy that's really good. Not to say that the soldier with the Purple Heart isn't a hero and a dedicated person in the Marines, the Army, or whatever service he is, but if he received the bullet, then the other guy must have been the real good marksman, and he's walking around with a marksman ribbon instead of a Purple Heart ribbon. All right, raise or fold. You can't limp here. Raise or fold. Some people are playing multiple tables and they see a bad hand and they just let it time out. They buy them some time somewhere else. I think Ronster will probably bet here. He's in the middle of 3 here, and he'll take a stab at this way, even if he has nothing. He didn't take a stab. He could always check raise, but he's probably going to fold. Now, I like the Jack-9. In fact, TJ Cloutier, 5-time World Series of Poker champion, not main event. That's his call sign for his favorite hand in his email. Jack-9 of clubs is part of his email address. Just an interesting, unrelated tidbit. Okay. Ronster has re-raised me out of the blind, saying he's got a big hand, and Lucy has done this for the 4th or 5th time. I'm definitely out. Let's see if Ronster sees if the guy has the middle pair. He's got the big pair, and Ronster got the matchup. Oh, no spade. Oh, Ronster, you don't want the spade. The ace included. Oh, my goodness. Heartbreak Hotel. If Ronster would have pushed all in, he still would get the call from. There's no way he'd get around that hand. There's no way I think that Lucy gets rid of kings. Where's Red Lucy from? Portland. Usually, the more aggressive players are from Eastern Europe or the Soviet Union, China. I'll put 15 cents in with this hand. I'm not going to raise because I'm out of position. Although I got a pair, you got 2 cards that are in the playing zone. You got 2 diamonds here, so you got a lot of people that are going to be in this pot. I would never go forward with this hand trying to catch a 5 or a deuce. If this hand would have been Jack 5 3, I might call 59 cents because at the lower limits you could hit that second pair and take down a big pot, but not with a coordinated, with 2 diamonds and 2 cards in the hot zone. There's just no way. If he comes over the top, and he didn't, I was going to say he has the king, and he was just setting a little bit of a trap there. He had the diamond draw. Okay, I'm going to sit out at the big blind, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hands. There's a delay on this broadcast, so you'll hear me up until the end. I know on my first broadcast, I got good position. I got bad cards here. I'm just throwing this one away. It's not very good. My first broadcast, I really butchered it. I didn't know that there was a delay, and I ended the video, and I didn't apologize correctly and tell people, and I just went off the air, and it kind of left them in the alert. They didn't see the last hand. I promised not to do that again, and I haven't. I'm learning. Rick Dent is one of my advisors from Australia. He's trying to teach uh, this guy. That's a bad card there. There, I had a winner. You never have a winner though if you're not in hand. Those people that always say, "Oh, I would have won that hand." Well, you'd have won it if you played it. Let's see if Runster comes back in for $1 here. Calls on the button. Didn't re-raise on the button. Runster's going to probably bet near $2 here. Maybe he'll go 169, somewhere around 2/3, because the buttons here are terrible. He should be going closer to $2. He checks it instead and gets a check back at him. Now he's going to try it. That was a strange line he took on that one. Our guy took his money and ran. Most people do. And listen, when I've talked to you before in other videos, if you double up, get up. Unless you really feel like you're in control of the table, getting great cards and stuff like that, or if you have an appointment or you're sick or you're tired, get up. Be satisfied with doubling your money. You sit with 25 and leave with 50. You've done good. If you leave with anything over the 25 you sat with, that's good. So I have nothing wrong with somebody, they call it hit and run, but most of them stay a little bit longer. Now here, this Go-Go raised, and then he was re-raised, and then he called, and now he just folded. So that's not very good poker. That's an easy fold. I got 2 hands to go, and I really want to thank you and anybody that you refer to follow me here at Twitch. That's Teach GPL. I appreciate that. Put them in touch, have them look at, and all my videos now on Twitch, I'm uploading to YouTube the same day. So you could also go to YouTube and view them, because the ones at Twitch, and you'll see right now that several of mine are going to be deleted in 4 or 5 days. That's because they allow you 2 weeks and then they get rid of your videos. They don't want to store your videos. So to find my videos, just search Al Spath or Teach at YouTube. If you have any problems with it, send me an email, alspath@alspath.com, and I'll send you the link. I'll go find it for you and send it to you. But I do appreciate you passing the word. I love to have sessions with people. I love to be on Skype with people. I love to answer questions. I love to help people fix their leaks and holes in their games and have fun playing and make some money at it. Why not? Make some money. Oh, you're welcome, Rick. I call him Rick. His real name is Peter, but I enjoy what I do. I have the enthusiasm. I was the dean over at Poker School Online for 4 or 5 years, and then they sold it to Poker Stars, and I enjoyed working with thousands of people and providing them the instruction and tell them what books were good. I review books. I can tell you if you email me what books you should have in your library and which ones are really good for tournaments and cash games, without me promoting anybody for any reason. I have no reason. I don't get a residual kickback from anybody on book reviews. I just do. Okay, Pan, I appreciate that. Put a comment up at Poker Market too. Let people know what you think, good or bad. I love it. Oh, we got to raise and we got to re-raise again on the button. This Go-Go Bear is out again. They're very, very weak in that respect. And this is just a fold hand in early position. So that wraps things up. There'll be a 45-second delay, but I'm glad you stayed to the end. And please pass on again my thanks to everybody. This is Al Spath on 26th of July, signing off for today.